The United Way made funding cuts to local agencies last year, but some programs are still feeling the effects. Good afternoon, I'm Allie Harris.
And I'm Alicia Ogerman. TV 10's Whitney Wagers is live to tell us how some agencies are bouncing back from the cuts. Whitney?
Thank you, Allie and Alicia. When the United Way changed their funding last year, programs had to go through a new way of getting it. They opted to switch it to what they call 3 pillars, those being health, education, and finance. Now, these local agencies had to put in requests, and some didn't get the results they were hoping for. When Nick Sanchez first started his job at the Boys and Girls Club, the children were not allowed to play in this gymnasium in the West Avenue Community Center, which is connected to the club. This is one of the first changes he made as executive director. However, 3 months later, when the United Way announced funding cuts, he had to make some even bigger changes.
I basically had to lay off most of all of our staff and rehire, and then we'll rehire at a smaller, less wage.
The United Way made funding cuts to programs at local agencies back in June of 2012.
The pie wasn't big enough to go around for what everyone was asking for either. And so our volunteers had to make a lot of very tough decisions.
Greg Cott, the president of the United Way of McLean County, says the decisions of what programs to cut were made based on the level of the program's performance.
It is competitive, so they've got to be on their A game.
Because of this, Dale Strassheim, the CEO of the Baby Fold, does have one hope for the future of United Way's funding.
I hope they don't become a funder like the state of Illinois, in that you start a good program and then funds start getting cut, and then you run a risk of whether you can continue it or not.
Since the funding cuts have taken place, the Boys and Girls Club has seen extra help from the city of Bloomington. They received a $15,000 grant to help redo the multi-purpose room. Despite this help, Sanchez has different plans for the future.
Our goal is to get off of United Way. Our goal is to basically limit the number of grants we have, because when you're tied to a grant, you're tied to whatever they want, whatever they're looking for, and when you're tied to whatever they decide to change the rules of the game next year and you don't fit in those rules, you lose your money.
The current funds are based on a 2-year plan, and when that 2 years is up, the agencies will have to put in another request for their programs to be funded. I'm standing in front of the Baby Fold right now, and when I asked CEO Dale Strassheim if he expects to see funds to return to where they were previously, he simply said no. Reporting live, I'm Whitney Wagers. Now back to you in the studio.